Hi, Franklin Falcons. It's Miss Becca from first grade. I finally have a chance because Parker's upstairs sleeping. Well, he's supposed to be sleeping, but he's playing in his crib. And I wanted to have the quick opportunity to read you a story. There's a little bit bummer of a news today, even though all of this coronavirus is going on. One of my favorite authors ended up passing away today. His name was Tomie dePaola. He was 85 years old. He ended up falling last week and got hurt and just couldn't get better. So I thought today, since he's my favorite author, a way to remember him would be to read you one of his stories. When I was younger, I even got to meet him. That's me when I was in elementary school, meeting Tomie. It was pretty cool. And I love him so much. This giant tub of books is all Tomie dePaola books. Can you believe it? All right, I'm going to read you one of my favorite stories by him, Stregonona. In a town in Calabria, a long time ago. Oh, I shouldn't hold it on that side. I should hold it on this side. Sorry, friends. In a town in Calabria, a long time ago, there lived an old lady everyone called Stregonona, which meant Grandma Witch. Although all the people in town talked about her in whispers, they all went to see her if they had troubles. Even the priest and the sisters of the convent went because Stregonona did have a magic touch. She could cure a headache with oil and water and a hairpin. She made special potions for the girls who wanted husbands. And she was very good at getting rid of warts. But Stregonona was getting old, and she needed someone to help her keep her little house and garden. So she put up a sign in the town square. And Big Anthony, who didn't pay attention, went to see her. Anthony, said Stregonona, you must sweep the house and wash the dishes. You must weed the garden and pick the vegetables. You must feed the goat and milk her. And you must fetch the water. For this, I will give you 3 coins and a place to sleep and food to eat. Oh, grazie, said Big Anthony. The one thing you must never do, said Stregonona, is touch the pasta pot. It is very valuable, and I don't let anyone touch it. Oh, see, yes, said Big Anthony. And so the days went by. Big Anthony did his work, and Stregonona met with the people who came to see her for headaches, husbands, and warts. Big Anthony had a nice big bed to sleep in next to the goat shed, and he had food to eat. One evening, Big Anthony was milking the goat. He heard Stregonona singing. Peeking in the window, he saw Stregonona standing over the pasta pot. She sang, bubble, bubble, pasta pot, boil me some pasta, nice and hot. I'm hungry and it's time to sup. Boil enough pasta to fill me up. And the pasta pot bubbled and boiled and was suddenly filled with steaming hot pasta. Then Stregonona sang, enough, enough, pasta pot, I have my pasta nice and hot, so simmer down, my pot of clay, until I'm hungry another day. How wonderful, said Big Anthony. That's a magic pot for sure. And Stregonona called Big Anthony in for supper. But too bad for Big Anthony, because he didn't see Stregonona blow 3 kisses to the magic pasta pot. I sensed some trouble coming. And this is what happened. The next day, when Big Anthony went to the town square to fetch the water, he told everybody about the pasta pot. And naturally, everyone laughed at him because it sounded so silly. A pot that cooked all by itself? You better go and confess to the priest, Big Anthony, they said. Such a lie. And Big Anthony was angry. And it wasn't a very good thing to be. I'll show them, he said to himself. Someday I will get the pasta pot and make it cook, and they'll be sorry. That day came sooner than even Big Anthony would have thought, because 2 days later, Stregonona said to Big Anthony, Anthony, I must go over the mountain to the next town to see my friend, Strega Amelia. Sweep the house and weed the garden, feed the goat and milk her, and for your lunch there's some bread and cheese in the cupboard. And remember, don't touch the pasta pot. Oh, yes, yes, Stregonona, said Big Anthony, but inside he was thinking, my chance has come. As soon as Stregonona was out of sight, Big Anthony went inside, pulled the pasta pot off the shelf, and put it on the floor. Now, let's see if I can remember the words, said Big Anthony, and Big Anthony sang, Bubble, bubble, pasta pot, boil me some pasta nice and hot. I'm hungry and it's time to sup. Boil enough pasta to fill me up. And sure enough, the pot bubbled and boiled and began to fill up with pasta. Said Big Anthony, and he ran to the town square, jumped on the fountain, and shouted, Everyone! Get forks and plates, platters and bowls, pasta for all at Stregonona's house. Big Anthony has the magic pasta pot working. Of course, everyone laughed, but ran home to get forks and plates and platters and bowls. And sure enough, when they got to Stregonona's, the pasta pot was so full, it was beginning to overflow. Big Anthony was a hero. He scooped out pasta and filled the plates and platters and bowls. There was more than enough for all the townspeople, including the priest and the sisters from the convent, and some people came back for 2 and 3 helpings. But the pot was never empty. When they had their fill, Big Anthony sang, Enough, enough, my pasta pot, I have my pasta nice and hot. So simmer down, my pot of clay, until I'm hungry another day. But alas, he didn't blow those 3 kisses. He went outside, and to the applause of the crowd, Big Anthony took a bow. He was so busy listening to compliments from everyone that he didn't notice the pasta was still bubbling and boiling until a sister from the convent said, Oh, Big Anthony, look! And the pasta was pouring out of the pot all over the floor of Stregonona's house and was coming out of the door. Big Anthony rushed in and shouted his magic words again, but the pot kept bubbling. He took the pot off the floor, but the pasta kept pouring out from it. Big Anthony grabbed a cover and put it on the pot and sat on it. But the pasta raised over the cover, and Big Anthony, as well, spilled on the floor of Stregonona's house. Stop! Yelled Anthony. But the pasta did not stop, and someone hadn't grabbed poor Big Anthony. The pasta would have covered him up. The pasta had all but filled the little house. Out of the windows and through the doors came the pasta and the pot, right on bubbling. The townspeople began to worry. Do something, Big Anthony, they shouted. Big Anthony sang the magic song again, but without the 3 kisses. It did no good. By this time, the pasta was on its way down the road, and all the people were running to keep ahead of it. We must protect our town from the pasta, shouted the mayor. Get mattresses, tables, doors, anything to make a barricade. But even that didn't work. The pot kept bubbling and the pasta kept coming. We are lost, said the people, and the priest and the sisters of the convent began praying. The pasta is going to cover our town, they cried. And it certainly would have had Stregonona not come down the road home from her visit. She didn't have to look twice to know what happened. She sang the magic song and blew 3 kisses, and with the sputter, the pot stopped boiling and the pasta came to a halt. But then they turned on Big Anthony. String him up, the men of the town shouted. Now wait, said Stregonona. The punishment must fit the crime. And she took a fork from a lady standing nearby and held it out to Big Anthony. All right, Anthony, you wanted pasta from the magic pasta pot, Stregonona said, and I want to sleep in my little bed tonight. So start eating. And he did. Poor Big Anthony. The end. So one thing that's really cool about this book from Tomie dePaola is he ended up getting an award called the Caldecott Honor Award, which is a pretty big, important award to get from as a book. One last quick thing I want to show you. I have this super cool Stregonona pop-up book, and I noticed in there it has a pop-up of when Big Anthony's pasta came flying through the town, and it was everywhere. I thought this was such a fun pop-up in this book. There are many other fun pop-ups. Maybe I can show you sometime soon. Have a great day, Franklin Falcons. Miss you.